Should be officially live. Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hello,
We
the
are
internet.
back. TBL is here, and once again, it is I, Fin, here with the Commissioner Goldoa, my co-commissioner. That's never going to get tired of saying that. And we are here to take a look back at TBL Week 3. I hope you are all doing well. Gold, how are you?
Oh, it's been a week already. I know it's only Tuesday, but certainly getting through real life. So let me distract myself by focusing on the way more important to everybody's day-to-day experience, TBL life. Yeah, so we're gonna go over all the battles, and for the first time ever, not have another battle right afterwards this particular week. So we actually get the little bit of a reprieve going into week 4 here. But we'll talk about when those matches are happening and what's going on towards the end of the stream. For now, let's just hop into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And taking a look at match one, again, these matches are in the event order that they happened. First one up, we might be able to get a little bit more insight than normal on this because this is the Commissioner Goldoa's battle. They took on Addy and the London Shockwave, and this was an interesting one. It definitely felt like Addy used a version of the sun that we had not seen her use yet, as Charizard did not make an appearance at all. And so instead, it was the Hisuian Lilligant to the other Terra Captain's time to shine. And oh boy, Choice Band of Chlorophyll, it put in work this week.
Yeah, and it wasn't even arguably the biggest threat on the team. It wasn't even arguably the biggest fighting type threat on the team. um, I had trouble with Grey Tusk. I had trouble with Cresselia. Addie said afterwards that it was the easiest sun prep she's ever done, which to that end, I'm very thankful that I came away with a point in this one. And yeah, if you do go back and watch this battle, it became not immediately, but somewhat quickly an interesting how am I going to score a point? What am I going to do to fight back? And it did maybe require a crit here and there and a little bit of luck, but we do manage to end up securing the 2-0 loss. Addy playing around Final Gambit Staraptor, which I had very, very well throughout the game. And I almost clicked it a couple of times. If I had, it would have hit the Tinkaton, taking that thing out with the Staraptor. But Staraptor ended up being my best offensive threat for most of the week, or most of the battle, I should say. So I ended up trying to keep it around for as long as I could, rather than just final gambiting it away. But Addy did a great job of breaking down some of the defensive checks to Mons really, really quickly, and then was able to handle the offensive pressure that my team could apply as the battle wore on. So it ended up coming. I mean, the final attack was a choice banded Terra fighting close combat, taking out a Primarina from like basically full, which is crazy.
Yeah,
um,
this matchup was intense all the way around. It honestly felt like the biggest issue you faced was just that Cresselia was just so daunting with how physical it was. Because even Final Gambit, if Cresselia was at full health, wasn't one-shotting it because of how bulky it is. And if Addy just clicks a Moonlight at any point, it's a very scary position. And on top of that, we got to see Funtech as a pickpocket. Tinkaton stole the scarf off the Staraptor.
yeah, I actually forgot about that.
Yeah, because
And that did end up
that's
making me like play very differently and have not as many checks to other things. Although the speed was still good for the matchup, but yeah, definitely it's an interesting tech every which way. Addy, an incredible battler, and improves to 2-1 on her own record, and knocks me down to 2-1. And we'll take more looks at the ramifications of that as we get to the standings. But this battle happened, and then I was immediately tasked with commentating 2 more battles. So we're going to go back through the immediate jump into the next battle as we did in real life when the Atlanta Victory Stars came in against the San Diego Pachirisus. And before the battle started, the Atlanta Victory Stars announced to the casting team that they were going to use their differential week this week. As a reminder, their differential week means that the team gets whatever their differential is in points. If they win 5-0, as you see on the screen, they gain 5 points instead of the usual 3 you would get But if they win 1-0, they only get 1 point instead of the 2 they would usually get. And if they lose like 0-3, they actually lose 3 points. It is the only way to lose points during the season. And last season, the Atlanta Victory Stars did use their differential week relatively early on in the season and lost the game, proceeding to lose 3 points and be fighting from behind despite a very good record early on. This season, the Atlanta Victory Stars really turned the table on that particular equation. Rather than just losing, rather than just winning a small, margin of victory and earning a little bit of a reward, the Atlanta Victory Stars managed to pick up a 5-0 win and 5 points. That is minimally 2 weeks that other teams will have to find ways to outpace the Atlanta Victory Stars if they don't want to use their own differential week in order to catch back up on the point scale. This game itself was really fascinating, though. Right off the bat, we saw a choice scarfed water spout Blastoise, which could have done a lot of work, except it was also a choice scarf Cinderace lead that led to the Blastoise taking a lot of chip damage from a U-turn. I can't remember if it was a critical hit U-turn on turn 1,
Nope.
but it did like 40%, which is crazy.
Yeah,
and
just max
Blastoise-
attack with no defensive investment from the Blastoise, and because of Libero, stab went hard.
Yeah, and Blastoise was down to about 60% right away. Wasn't able to maximally utilize the water type offensive move. And over the course of the rest of the match, the Atlanta Victory Stars started pulling away and just managing the end game very well. That said, the San Diego Pachirisus did have a couple of places where it felt like they had chances to at least claim more kills, but ended up not following through on those. There was a situation where the Corviknight picked up a kill, was sitting at about 55%, and I, as a commentator, and the players both later acknowledged that likely Galvantula was the mon that should have come in there. It would have just threatened with a Thunder, forced the Corviknight to either pick a sack or for something else to get 2-hit KO'd pretty cleanly from the ranges everything was at. But it instead, the Hisui and Gudra came in, which literally didn't do anything. In fact, it did so nothing that the chilling water that it hit onto the Corviknight, not only did it get roosted off, but it also got the Gudra to lose attack. So the Corviknight able to end up being healthy enough and deal a ton of damage without the Galvantula coming in quickly, that it was able to threaten more Pokemon, get out of range of other attacks, and be the big MVP at the end of the game. And the Atlanta Victory Stars do go on to pick up a 5-0 victory.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at the end, part of the issue here was there just was not enough offensive pressure to take out the Corviknight. Galvantula was essentially it, especially after Blastoise took as much damage as it did. Gliscor had no real way of dealing with the Corviknight. Okidogi really did not really have anything. Gudra absolutely did not. So it unfortunately just was the advantageous position. And one of the things that's interesting is keep in mind when discussing with your opponents, anything you say can and will be used against you, as one of the things that Playmaker talked about. The reason they chose to use their diff week this week, their opponent, when they were scheduling the time, said, hey, I don't really have time to set anything up, so we're just going to fly by the seat of our pants and just kind of wing it. And so Play said, okay, they're not doing full prep, I'm going to take full advantage, and that's exactly what happened this week.
Yeah, and as again a reminder, the San Diego Pachirisus do not have any further penalties for losing this game.
Yes.
It's not like Playmaker using their differential week causes the Pachirisus to also lose points or anything like that. They get the 0 points that they were supposed to get. They don't lose 5. Only Playmaker gets the net positive benefit of having used their differential week. So in terms of the San Diego Pachirisus own personal situation, it only means that this one team that you're facing has gained a little bit more of an advantage perhaps than they would have otherwise, but no further detriment to the Pachirisus for this game, and they can just shake it off. They've already got a win under Addy under their belt, so we know that they're capable of putting up really good results this season. So shake this one off, move forward in the season and see where it takes you.
Yep, absolutely. And going into the next match, we have the Canadian Saraledges taking on the Virginia Victinis. And just right off the bat, you can see how much of a difference that differential week makes here, as this is the same score as the previous game, but because no differential week was used, 2 less points, and so not quite as beneficial for the coach. But in this matchup, we see that the Canadian Saraledges just had too much for the Virginia Victinis to really answer here. I mean, there was just a lot of bulk that was hard to break through. And ultimately, by the end, Rotom Wash was able to put in a ton of work. Ursaluna was able to put a ton of work. Glacier was able to put a ton of work in to where some of the mons you might think normally to be the threats, like Goldango or Darkrai, weren't as much the factor in this case as it was some of the other mons, thanks to some very powerful pivoting and just kind of taking advantage of some of the different spots here.
Yeah, and some really neat prep things like Throat Chop on the Glastrier, Terra Fairy Glastrier, which is still the best fairy type on the Canadian Sacrilege's team. Into the Torch Song Skeledirge allowed it to make sure that it wasn't going to be getting, tons of special attack boosts right off the bat. And just a very, very solid week overall from the Canadian Sacrileges, who do improve to 3-0. They are the only undefeated team remaining this season. But as Finfin mentioned, only scoring 3 points, which sounds crazy. Only scoring 3 points. That is the most points you can possibly score in any week you don't use your differential week. So, and this is the second time that the Canadian Sacrileges have managed to pick up a 3-point victory this season so far. So they are coming out very, very hot early on in the season and playing really well. But we'll see later how that 5 points from the Atlanta Victory Stars do factor into the divisional race, because despite losing a game earlier this season, the Atlanta Victory Stars did manage to pick up effectively 2 weeks worth of points at once.
Yeah, so a lot of action still to happen, and because we're only in week 3 in the point system, still anyone's game. But yeah, this was an absolutely huge week for the Sacrileges. I believe they are the only undefeated team remaining as well,
That is true, yeah.
and they're in second place. I love the point system so much.
Yeah, and we'll show you how that worked out later on, but we're going to move on to the fourth match here. I don't remember which order this was in, so Finfin's going to pull it up. This is the Roman Polions taking on the Atlanta Talonflames, and this was a close game if you look at the final score. But in the moment, felt a little bit not so close. The Roman Polions, I feel like, just continue to apply pressure, continue to push in this game, and the Atlanta Talonflames were able to keep the game within reach and certainly score a point, but I just never felt like the Roman Polions were in danger in this game.
There were a few points in which I do think it could have gone a little bit dicey, but I think the big thing here is Aaron was able to save a major win con and keep it secret in the Choice Scarf Scizor in the back. Scizor was able to come in and essentially reverse clean up what otherwise would have essentially been a guaranteed, kill from the Entei just clicking Sacred Fire, but the Scarf in this case being huge, allowing the Terra to just kind of go nuts here. Really creative set and a couple of creative sets here from the Roman Polions. Whereas over on the Talon side with the Atlanta Talonflames, we saw unfortunately a continued trend to where Talon has basically had 3 0-1 losses to start the season. Each match has been incredibly close. Feels like they can go either way with just one or two things changing, but really well fought to ensure the 1 point. Aaron just towards the end was playing towards their outs, knowing what they had available, and just played very securely there. So not the end result that Talon wanted, but a 1-0 or an 0-1 loss is still, keeps you right in there in the hunt with the points.
Yeah, absolutely. And this was one of the crossover matches from week 3, so the Atlanta Talonflames not giving up points to their own division. That is also relevant here. As Finfin mentioned, they have 3 0-1 losses. That is 3 close losses. They've scored 3 points. Admittedly not being in the division with the team that just scored 5 points is probably good. So very much still in the hunt here, and we'll keep seeing how the Talonflames can adjust to hopefully go from that 0-1 deficit to hopefully getting some wins soon on in the season.
Yes, and taking a look at the next matchup, we have the Chicago Phalanx taking on the Venus Venusaurs, and I was a big fan watching this match because I don't know if you've seen the replay yet, Gold, but Godbrayer brought some very fun tech heat early and was able to show it off as they went with Mean Look Petrant, which I don't know if you recall your history with Mean Look and Godbear, but this was a lot of fun to see here as Petrant was able to trap the Torkoal early, and we saw some of Godbear's unfortunate RNG continue from the past 2 weeks, as within the first couple of turns, Torkoal was able to get 2 crits, as well as able to get a Spadef drop off an Earth Power, but Godbear played very smart, played to the outs, kept clicking substitute and recover, and based off of the Spadef drops, was able to stay out of range of the Torkoal ever killing. So Godbear was able to waste the sun, able to get rid of the Torkoal, and after that, the team just kind of lost one of its key synergy moments, giving Godbear a very big early advantage, allowing him to eventually take a 3-0 victory and secure 2 points.
I admit I have not watched this battle, but now you're making me really want to go see it, so I'm gonna have to go check that out. And yeah, I mean, I think a big part of the TBL and the way that you're gonna win this league is coming with something your opponent's not ready for. Prepping just that little bit of extra spice that gives you that edge, because the players in the TBL are all very competent battlers. They all know the basic sets that anything will likely run. Probably it's most likely 10 to 15 moves of possible prep that you could bring, and it's who's going to bring that one move that the other person wasn't looking for, or one mon that the other person was not super concerned about, is the set that ends up being very concerning, that is going to give those incremental advantages and help a player find their way to victory here.
Yeah, but ultimately it was just a really great showing, and that one set unfortunately is kind of kneecapped Boyd's team, because Boyd otherwise would have actually been in a really interesting position. They brought a more offensive Torkoal, so an overheat in the sun normally actually one-shots the Petrant. However, Godbear brought a very specially defensive set with the Moringa Berry, so that way the overheat brings it to -2, and the berry brings Spadef for the Petrant to +1, and so it eventually came to be almost unbreakable. And after that, not being able to get the sun boost for the Roaring Moon or the Walking Wake or the Blaziken's Fire moves just kind of limited the max output. But Boyd still able to fight, kept Godbear from securing 3 points, but ultimately losing Torkoal early was just too much of a mountain to have to climb over.
Yeah, and once again, this was another crossover game, so keeping that in mind as well, as the Chicago Phalanx are in the way scarier division in terms of points scored, so that extra point that the Venus Region were able to hold them off of may end up being very significant as the season moves on.
Absolutely. And we go into the final match of the week, which was my own. Have you had a chance to watch this one as well?
I watched the last bit of it. I missed the early part, so I can't do a recap regarding how we got to the position we got into, but suffice it to say, so I am told the Kilowattrel, which was Terra Ice, was in a position where it outsped all of Joe's remaining Pokemon and just needed to click Terra Blast to try to pick up kills. Joe also did mention earlier that he did get a critical hit with Terra Ground Rhyperior OHKOing in a Lomomola.
The crit, they brought Scope Lens with Drill Run, and so 50-50 chance at that point. Where it was wild is the Alola was max bulk, and so there was only like 4 rolls to where the crit killed.
Alomola is so bulky, but Rhyperior, Joe wanted to click the funny button, and he went for it. He did it. He got the kill on the Alomola, but in doing so, he chose not to be Lightning Rod and Terra Water Rhyperior, which did make major implications for the last turns of the game when the Kilowattrel was in and had a chance to click Terra Blast with the Terra Ice type into the Terra Ground Rhyperior and was able to pick up a kill, netting the Palatine Paladins on the final turn the 1-0 victory and 2 points for the win. Of course, if Joe was Terra Water, he does no-code the Alomola. A lot of things are different about this battle, so that doesn't, it's not like, oh, if he was Terra Water on this last turn, he would have won, because obviously the whole battle plays out very differently. But Palatine Paladins end up managing to pick up the 1-0 victory at the very end of the game with a very well played Terra Ice Kilowattrel.
Yeah, it went hard, was very much a fan of it. The big thing, at least for me when I came into this match, was I was not going to let Serene Grace, Ironhead, Jirachi be a pain. That was one of my big things. So I brought Florges to try and bait in the Jirachi. We never got to saw the interaction because too late in the game. but it was trick lagging tail because I'm like, all right, well, if you can't outspeed me, then you're never going to make me flinch, and I don't have to worry about that. And and then on top of it, Kilowattrel was set to outspeed, Iron Treads was set to outspeed, and then I had Scarf Annihilate and Scarf Glamora. So the only things that were going to be outsped were my Rocky Helmet, Alola Mola, and the lagging tail Florges. I'm like, I am not losing to Iron Head Jirachi. I hate Serene Grace so much on that so much.
Um, yeah, and Joe has not really utilized it in that way much this season, as far as I've seen. But we'll see how he continues to use it moving forward. Um, we've talked a lot about the standings, though. Let's actually take a look at them because they're crazy right now. So first off, let's go into the Violet Conference, where you have your top 3 teams are all 2-1, all with 5 points. The London Shockwaves do get the nod for the number 1 overall spot because of their win against another one of the 2-1 teams. The Palatown Paladins actually slide in as the number 2 team because they haven't played either of the other 2 teams. So technically, if you look at the tiebreaker, right, the London Shockwave are 1-0, which puts them on the top, and the New York Empoleon are 0-1, which puts them on the bottom. But the Palatown Paladins are 0-0, which puts them in between 1-0 and 0-1. So all 3 are technically tied for first right now, with the objective head-to-head of the London Shockwave beating New York Empoleon, and the fact that both of those teams still have the Palatown Paladins to play later in the season does mean there's going to be a lot of shakeup as the season progresses. Looking down, though, the Boston Red Rocks at 1-2 are sitting at 4 points. Depending on results this upcoming week, the Boston Red Rocks could find themselves in sole possession of first place very easily in this division, actually, if the results fall their way. The Atlanta Talonflames, what's crazier to me is the Atlanta Talonflames are 0-3, as we mentioned, all of them 0-1 losses, and so they are sitting with 3 points. If they get a 3-point victory and all 4 of the teams above them fail to score, they will be in sole possession of first place.
Which can happen because this is cross-divisional week for the matchups.
Yeah, so 100% of the matchups this upcoming week are Violet versus Scarlet. Nobody's playing anyone within their own division. So it is very possible that if the Atlanta Talonflames win and everyone else in the Violet Conference loses, all of a sudden they are actually just sole possession of first place despite starting the season 0-3. It is that tight right now in this division. The Venus Media Tour really looking to pick up some points, though, and that is the difference right now. The Atlanta Talonflames, right, have all those close losses, picking up points in every single game. The Venus Media Tour having a couple of 0-3 games, very specifically, so their opponents are only getting the 2 points, but they're not getting one, and that is causing them to be a little bit further behind, but certainly not out of the race yet. Meanwhile, the Scarlet Conference is absolutely ridiculous. The San Diego Pachirisus and Virginia Victinis, if they were in the Violet Conference, would look like they were in contention, to win the division still very considerably. But the San Diego Pachirisus find themselves 7 points out of first place in week 3, which is crazy because, again, you're only supposed to be able to score 3 points per week. So 9 points would be max points, and the Atlanta Victory Stars actually did lose a game. So despite that, they are sitting at 9 points in first place. The Canadian Sacrileges, who have gotten 2 max point victories and are 3-0, are sitting at 8 points in second place. So out of a possible maximum of 9 points, they are actually still sitting in second place despite scoring 8 of them, which is insane. And the Roman Polions and Chicago Phalanx are both tied for third. Roman Polions get the nod, having a slightly higher overall differential since the 2 have not yet faced this season. As the reason we show you the top 3 is the top 3 will make playoffs. We'll talk way more about that in the second half of the season since that is not super relevant right now. There's still a ton to play for, and every playoff spot is still very much up for grabs. Nobody has even come remotely close to locking anything up, although the Atlanta Victory Stars and Canadian Sacrileges are in good shape, obviously coming out of the early part of the season.
Yeah, a lot of things that can still happen. A lot of teams still with their differential week to go. I'm excited to see how it happens because it always feels like once we get to bye week, everyone's still in it, and there's just a lot of pressure, and you see some really creative plays come out as a result. But continuing into it, we're going to take a look at transactions because there actually were a few this week. We saw the Venus Venusaur dropping their Enamorus to pick up Volcanion. Because Enamorus was a Terra Captain, Volcanion takes that ability and replaces the Enam. So now we have a Terra Volcanion for the Venus Venusaur. As for the London Shockwave, we do see here that they dropped the Weavile for the Manaphy.
Yeah, and additionally, those two teams also trading some Mons around. So Roaring Moon will be going to the London Shockwave, while Raging Bolt will be going to the Venus Venusaur. So the two Sun teams trading Mons that are both benefiting from Sun, and hopefully both feel that they get a benefit from this particular transaction.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see. We see essentially the teams trading and saying, "Hey, I'll take the special attacking mon if you want to take the physical." So curious to see how that plays out. I don't hate this for Boyd's team because one of the thing with Boyd's team is it feels like they have a lot more special attacking mons between the Walking Wake that they currently have, as well as um, Landorus, Venusaur, Regieleki, Torkoal. Like it feels like they have a lot of special attackers. So now that they're taking on the Raging Bolt, it's just going to kind of add to that, to the pressure, dropping the Roaring Moon. I'm curious to see if Blaziken we start to see become more physical. Maybe the Landorus runs more, comes more each week. The Venusaur, while it is more specially attack, it does get physical type moves. So curious to see what the play is. And as for the London Shockwave, I hate Boyd a little bit for giving Addy Roaring Moon with this team.
Yeah, I mean, they were both Sun teams, and I think Roaring Moon was scarier on Addy's. I'm not gonna
Yep.
lie. So the only benefit is that I've already faced Addy, and therefore I got
Lucky
my
you.
point. Pocket that, and I can run away before the Manaphy and the Roaring Moon come storming onto that team.
Well,
We have a couple things to talk about though.
yeah, we do.
In addition to the transaction, so let's jump into that really quick before we get into our coach interview for this week. The big thing here that I just want to acknowledge is that the London Shockwave are dealing with a real life situation that is going to take precedence over conducting Pokemon battles. Crazy, I know, but that's where we are in the world. And so when she is ready to conduct those battles, that's when we will finalize the scheduling for the London Shockwaves battles. We do have the use of the bye week already built into the system as a possible makeup. So we will keep you posted on that, but there will be only 5 matches per week for at least the immediate future. And we will keep everyone up to date when things change. So I just want to acknowledge that. So you will be seeing this week that the Atlanta Victory Stars were scheduled to play the London Shockwave. That match has been postponed and is likely going to take place during the bye week. We're not sure yet about the Week 5 game leading up to that as well. But we will obviously be keeping an eye on that, and everything is okay. It's Addie's fine, but that is something we just wanted to at least acknowledge.
Yeah, and just for full transparency with it, part of the reason why we're doing this is, or making this announcement is, it's for the immediate future. We don't fully know the scope of everything, and so we can't come out and say, oh, we're going to have to replace the coach, or oh, it's just going to be a week. It's just there's a lot up in the air right now, and so we want to be respectful to the situation Addie is going through, and give her time to put all the focus where she needs to put it, and then we will come back later and make a decision. But we just want to allow Addie time to focus and take care of things that are far more important than any Pokemon match could be.
And moving on to things that are far more important than people's far more important lives, we are uploading videos to YouTube now. So youtube.com/Twitch Battle League, you can find those. Finman is also making a short of a recap of every week, and we are excited to be able to offer like a new form of content in that way. So please check those out because any feedback is really appreciated. We are just getting those rolling. Those are going to be usually a little bit delayed behind the actual battles themselves getting uploaded to YouTube just because of the timing it takes to make them. But that's really cool that we're getting the chance to offer that content, and we're hopefully excited to see growth over on the YouTube side as well. And as we mentioned with regards to the bye week, there are going to be some fun bye week shenanigans that we always do, and we will be trying to get that information to you as soon as possible, though we have not finalized our plans yet.
Yep. But with that said, we are thankful to be joined by one of our fantastic coaches. Coach Talonflame is in the call with us. Talon, if you're still here, appreciate your patience in us getting to this, but would love it if you could join us for a little bit because we do want to try and take care of these interviews to where we get to introduce and get to know all the coaches in the league, not just Golden myself, because we talk enough as is. And Talon, you've been a huge part of the league for years, as well as been doing a lot of the commentary communications, especially this season and seasons past. So great chance to get to know you more, and we really appreciate you joining us.
Well, first off, I appreciate the opportunity. Is it too soon to say that people are tired of hearing your guys' voices and they want to hear my voice instead?
It's never too soon. Please take it away from me.
Yeah.
Well, as long as we get the formalities out of the way, where it's like, is it too soon to say that? All right, let's get into it.
But yeah, let's have you introduce yourself, your history within the TBL and within Draft League as a whole, and within the rest of the Pokemon sphere. I know you're very active in VGC and other places, so yeah, give us a little bit of a rundown of who Talon is and what it looks like to be you in the Pokemon world.
Well, to put it very mildly and put it very humbly, and funnily enough, I actually just submitted a video to Charlie, aka Chazingdra, for his Pokemon 30th anniversary video. I got an opportunity to send him a video. Will it make the final cut? I don't know. Just thankful to have that opportunity to send a video in. Other than that, I mean, I'll say some things that were part of that video. First off, hello guys, Talon Master J here. You can call me Talon, you can call me Joe, call me whatever you want, just don't call me late for dinner. Even though my mom will probably be calling me that in about 10 minutes. Who the hell knows? I started the games back in, I think, like 2004-ish or something like that. Like, when I played initially, I was just casual, man. I got the games, beat the games, I restarted the games, I beat the games again, and I just kept doing that for the longest time. Around 2019, so in the lead up to Sword and Shield, that's when I learned about Draft League and competitive from A Drive, of all people, because he did a thing with Draft League called the Minnesota Vikavolt, and I was like, wait a minute, that looks like the Vikings logo, but with a Pokemon. Is this like fantasy Pokemon, so to speak? And I was basically of that mentality where I'm like, how the hell can I join like this realm of Pokemon? Like, I never knew about competitive. Maybe I did the Battle Tree every so often or the Battle Frontier every so often, but I never sat down. I never learned about EVs. I never learned about IVs. I never learned about shiny hunting. And when I got into Draft League, this is a true story, I was in 10 leagues running at the exact same time when I first started. I will give you a moment to comment.
So, my first comment is, your question, I guess, is just how did you find 10 leagues simultaneously to get started in?
So what happened first off was I joined this one league that a friend of mine gave me an opportunity to play in, and from there it was just people were posting in the server, hey, we have a drop, hey, we have a drop, hey, we have a drop. Then I had a couple that DM'd me. They're like, hey, we like your content, can you fill in for a player? And bibbity bobbity boo, next thing I know, I'm in 10 leagues.
That is sort of how Draft League works, I'm not gonna lie.
Like, when I first started, I wanted the community to respect me, because it was a whole new community, it was a whole new area I had never known before.
You're in the wrong line of business for that.
Yeah, I've learned that. I've learned that a little bit with a couple of people. But I did those 10 leagues together. I could not tell you for the life of me if I made I think I made playoffs in 2 of them. And I'm assuming 2 out of 10, even though Gold is secretly looking in his computer how to commit somebody to a mental institution. He's probably impressed that I made two playoffs of 10 leagues at the same time.
Genuinely, yes. How many times did you bring an illegal Pokemon, like one of them, or a set that was like from a different team to the wrong
What do you mean
battle?
by
Oh,
what do you mean by that?
that's fair. Like you accidentally brought the wrong Mon, so you brought League A's team to League B's match, or you followed League A's rule, but League B banned an item or a move.
Surprisingly, none.
That's impressive. See, that I'm actually more impressed by than the playoff thing because I'll be in like 2 leagues at a time and I will make that mistake. And maybe
Yeah,
it's 'cause I play in leagues that have crazy rules, but like honestly, keeping it all straight is the hardest part.
I mean, at one point, now this league was not running at the same time as the 10. It started like a year later is when I found this league. This one was an NFL style league in Sword and Shield where 32 players, 32 teams,
Oh gosh.
8 divisions, 2 conferences, 8 Pokemon to a team, and you could Dynamax or Gigantamax any Pokemon on your team with a bye week. But it was basically set up like an NFL. So like how Gold, you're the New York Empoleon, I'm the Atlanta Talon Flames. It'd be like 1 week Gold, you're the home team, I'm the road team. And then like 4 weeks later, I'm the home team, you're the road team. It was stuff.
Is there
It
any
was stuff
benefit
like
to being the home team or anything?
I think it was just a matter of you or the. I think if I'm remembering this correctly, I would have to ask my friend Sharpie Plays, because it was from there that the TPL reimagined itself into the Sky Pillar Championship, which I've been a part of for the last couple of years. But if I had to remember, I think it was the home team got to decide the date and the time, and the road team had to make the comp, if I remember correctly. I legitimately do not remember anything except that it was a 17-week season, and I think I barely made playoffs in that league, and I got eliminated in the first round. And did I care? No, because I think I speak for everybody when I'm like, we never want to do that again. And it's been 5 years and there hasn't been an effort to do one since.
17 weeks is crazy. I mean, people were complaining that I was doing too much when I was like, let's make it 10. I can't imagine almost doubling the length of the season. Plus, if it's true NFL style, it's actually also a longer playoff format as well. So not only is it a 17-week regular season, but just continues to add time over the course of it. So
See, now I want
that's
to do
insane.
an MLB style where
162 games.
162 games, you play teams in increments of 3, so you have 3 matches every time you face, best of 7 playoffs. Yeah, no, we gotta make this happen. Let's do an MLB style.
Yeah, summer league.
Gold, do you have a rubber room at the Puzzle Factory nearby for you? Because I will send Finn first class to it.
No, but honestly, like, it's cool to hear all of these different formats that Draft League commissioners have tried to create in the past, and you know, people buy into and give it a real legitimate shot and play it out. And one thing, actually, speaking of the home team thing, I just want to like address this really quick because it's an interesting fact. We actually have almost implemented the home team thing in TBL. In GBA, when they'd used a point system, which is the only league I know that uses a point system, they actually had a home team component. And when you were the home team, if you won, you got 1 extra point. There was no penalty for losing as the away team necessarily, except that you gave your opponent an extra point. But like, so everyone would get 5 home games and 5 away games per season. But there's no way to balance it for like, because you don't play the same teams twice and have 1 at home and 1 away game in the TBL. So there was no good way to balance it for everybody. So I didn't do it, but it actually almost was implemented here, a home team, away team system. So just something interesting to talk about. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, I mean, another sort of like fun throwback to it. I don't know if you ever used it, but this team, Now it was called the Trico Pokemon League. That I also remember. But it was on Automatic's website. If you remember.
Oh, the throwback to the website.
Throwback to the website.
Rip the Draft League website. That thing was actually kind of sick.
Yeah, it was on there. That was where we submitted the matches and everything. And then also in Sword and Shield, that's when I kind of got a little into VGC during the pandemic. I did the Champions Cup that Wolf and A Drive hosted. I went 2-7 in it, and did I care? No, I'd never built a VGC team before. I didn't even know what VGC was at the time. So I learned it's bring 6, pick 4, and all I remember of that team is I had a Chandelure, a Gothitelle, and a Gmax Lapras, which one of my wins was because my opponent was trying to decorate their Gmax Lapras and ended up decorating my Gmax Lapras. But then, I just kept doing Draft League more so than anything else. I didn't really care much about VGC. Then I tried doing the Players Cup 4 qualifier, and if I remember correctly, I think somebody said I placed like top 5,000 in the world or something like that, which to me was like, I placed top 5,000 in the freaking world. And, I was like, all right, pretty cool. And then I said in Gen 9, I was really gonna dive into VGC and whatnot. So I learned there was a regional in Orlando, which is about 2 hours east of me. And I signed up for it. A bunch of the TPL guys who are now Sky Pillar Championship guys, we all signed up for it. We all went to this event together. It was 10 rounds of best of 3 Swiss. And it was precisely that event that led Pokemon to implement the 2-day format that they do now, because it was long. I went 5-5 at it. Was happy that I even did 5-5. Then I went to Hartford Regionals, went 6-3. Went to NAIC, placed went 5-4. Then went to Pittsburgh, finished 6-3. Charlotte 6-3. Orlando 2024 4-5. Atlanta 2025. I went 5-3. I lost my winning in. That's a theme with me, is that I've literally lost every winning in that I've been in. And outside of that, I'm trying to cast. I'm doing more on that side of things because I'm trying to be on the official regional stream team, because I know that I have the ability to. I'm working with my local TO who actually does the stream production. Like, he's in OBS and he's doing all of like the graphic transitions and everything for the video game. So he's, a good reference point to have. And I host an online tour on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. So if you guys are ever wanting to try your hand at VGC, you are more than welcome to play.
Yeah, and that's going to lead me into, the next thing, which is just pitch yourself. I mean, honestly, like, use this platform. I mean, I know we don't have a ton of viewers here at the TBL. You probably have more on here on stream, but what do you do? Where do you stream? Where can people find you? What kind of content can they expect?
I actually just streamed for the first time in 2026 on Sunday. I streamed the EUIC finals, and I just uploaded my reaction video to my YouTube channel. Both channels are the same name, Talamaster J. So you guys can go look that up. My TikTok, I just uploaded a image. It was an image of the Pokemon TCG, what they revealed for the 30th anniversary, and it was like an absolutely insane TCG set. Like, again, I'm not a fan of I didn't want to show like a video of it because it's not really a video, but it's an image of the 30th anniversary trading card game, like items or whatever, and it's got like a hat, it's got deck sleeves, it's got a deck box, and it's got a playmat, and they're all with like a nice like light gray background with gold, and the gold design is the OG battle. Now, I'm going to give you guys real quick, what do you think the OG battle is? If you have one guess.
The OG battle TCG card, or the OG like what is the first battle in Pokemon?
The first battle in Pokemon.
My brain goes to the Nido Reno versus Gengar from the original games on the like startup screen, if that's what we're referring to.
I'm pointing at you while pointing on my nose. What is that sign? What is that signal?
Got it.
You got it right.
That's my like if you say the original battle, that's what my brain straight sees.
Yeah, it's an absolutely incredible design. As a matter of fact, let me get that image real quick because I can share it in here that you guys can look at, because again, it is like absolutely incredible. Here we go. Here's that. And I'm gonna put it in the stream chat here that you guys can check it out.
Oh, I actually love that playmat. That's actually amazing.
Yeah, no, it's sick. Like, I may need to take out a small loan for all the stuff that Pokemon is gonna be revealing this year. The only thing that I'm a little on the fence for personally, because to me, it doesn't seem like a game that I would enjoy, and it's that Pokopia. Like, I never got into Animal Crossing, truthfully, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I'm already really hyped for the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. Obviously, there's a lot of cool stuff going on everywhere. Hell, they might get me to a McDonald's, to try to go get some of the giveaways they're doing there. That's how hyped I am for this. So, anyway, Talon, thank you so much for joining us here. A little bit more about each individual coach and how involved with the Pokemon community everybody is. It's so cool to get a chance to be cultivating a community that has all these really incredible people in it, and I really appreciate your time and you jumping on in for this and your time for all the casting and playing that you do for the league and have done for many seasons. This league doesn't exist without people like you, so really appreciate it.
I mean, I appreciate the opportunity to have battled some of you guys, made some good friends in the community because of TBL. And again, the only thing that I've ever truly asked is that if you guys go to an event for VGC or anything really, just hammer down my name, because the word of mouth, eventually I will get an opportunity, and I know that I can live up to the expectations that I've set for myself, but it doesn't get there without the help of the community. So if you're ever at a VGC local or you go to a VGC regional, like, I know technically I don't know if there's spots available, but if Finn wants to, there is a regional in Seattle next weekend. So if he wants to take a nice drive up I-5, he can do that.
How long would that drive be?
Probably about 10 hours.
No, that would be a little bit more, because I don't think I get to North California in less than 10 hours.
Okay, then he just flies.
Yeah, let me see, just because it was asked. So if I were to just go to the heart of Seattle, it would take approximately 21 to 22 hours straight of driving.
Okay, that's a lot longer than I thought.
Yeah,
That's
so
that's a day. Come on, dude. It's a day trip.
yeah, the only reason I knew right off the bat is that's roughly just a little bit more east, or not so more east, a little bit more west than where I normally go to when I go to see family up in Montana, and that's usually a 2-day drive. So I will probably fly if I have to go up there, but I'm probably not going out of town too much this year just because. Listen, Gold, you've got until March 30th. Afterwards, my attendance is going to become spotty at best as baseball starts.
We are going to utilize you as much as we possibly can up until that point. But speaking of everybody's schedules and availability for this upcoming weekend, why don't we take a look at the schedule for this week? So right off the bat, we don't have any games today. This is crazy. We're doing a recap and we don't have any battles. I don't even know what to do with myself after this, but tomorrow, if we had done this recap on Wednesday, we would have a battle. The Palatine Paladins are taking on the Chicago Phalanx tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Friday, we're gonna have 2 battles. The New York Employee and Canadian Sacrileges are taking Fin. I just want to acknowledge that is not the time. It was 3 p.m. Pacific that was listed, so it is 6 p.m. Eastern time. I just want to make sure that that's clear. Yeah, it'll be 6 p.m. EST or 3 p.m. Pacific. That's on Friday. I believe the Roman Polions and Venus Ouija Shore have, like, during the course of this stream, almost finalized a time. It looks like it's going to be closer to 9 p.m. Eastern time, but they haven't given us the official word on that. So expect another battle Friday late around 9 p.m. Eastern time. And then we have 2 battles on Sunday, one at 5 p.m. Eastern and one at 7 p.m. Eastern. And again, as we had mentioned earlier, the London Shockwave and Atlanta Victory Stars are going to postpone their match. There is no penalty for this postponement. It has been approved by us for an indefinite amount of time. But likely that will be played in the bye week. So we will only be looking at 5 games, and we will be looking at some results based in next recap on the teams that did play, and the London Shockwave and Atlanta Victory Stars will pick up their points and their game once they do actually find a time to battle. But yeah, as always, the TBL is coming at you fast and hard. There's a ton of battles coming up still. Even 5 battles a week is a lot to manage. So definitely check those out Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. A couple of nice breaks this week too, which will be nice. But anyway, Talon, once again, thank you so much for joining us on this call. And we're happy to have you again here on this call, on any casting opportunity, and just in the community as a whole. And myself and my co-commissioner, the one, the only Fin, will be signing off for today because there is no battle right after this recap stream.
I don't know what I'm going to do with myself, but yes, thank you, Goldoa. As always, it's always a pleasure doing these recaps with you. And folks, if you're still here, please go check out the YouTube channel. Cannot stress that enough. Make all of it worth it and relive some of the great moments. Get to, add your comments, see the recaps, and we're going to try and get a lot more media out there, so greatly appreciate you. But as always, we just want to sign off reminding you that whatever you're doing in life, just have some fun with it. And we will see you tomorrow for another great match. Take care, everybody.